What's going on YouTube? Josh here from The Creative Wade, and that is right, I have changed the name of the channel to The Creative Wade because I really want to get into more creative projects, and that does include video, a little bit of 3D. Obviously, music is the main goal of this channel, but today I didn't really have a script or anything. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip on this one. Presonus finally did it. They have Atmos. And while I still don't think it's a super pressing issue to have Atmos or not, I really think it's cool that Studio One Presonus actually come out with it, because I personally do get requests for Atmos mixes and masters. So I think it's really cool that they hopped on, and they're not too far behind like the Logic Pros of the world again and the Cubases of the world. You know, okay, 6 months ago, if you typed in Studio One Atmos, you would find just crickets. You would find nothing. Presonus didn't mention anything about it. And the only thing that I found looking and trying to do some research was 2 or 3 years ago, people were asking in Presonus forums, hey, are you guys going to come out with Atmos? Because we hear that Logic is going to come with Atmos stock. And Presonus didn't reply. And with the Fender acquisition, in the back of my mind, it made me even a little more nervous, because I'm like, man, I really hope they come out with Atmos. I hope they stay on top of the industry, of what's happening and the changes. And kudos to Presonus. You guys did a great job. For those of you who aren't aware of the type of DAWs that I use, Studio One has been my go-to since Studio One version 3. Before that was ProTools for about 9-10 years. And now I jump back between Ableton Live and Studio One, depending on what I'm doing. I still really like Ableton Live for constructing music, just, you know, actually orchestrating music. I love how fast the workflow is. I love the stock plugins that Ableton has. And Ableton's been coming out with some really cool stuff too. I don't see Ableton coming out with an Atmos anytime soon though. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope next week they come out with it and I have to make another video saying, hey, that video, I was wrong. Sorry if I keep looking down, but I've got a monitor here and it's letting me know I'm in focus. Today's rant, well, not really a rant, it's a conversation. I wanted to start a conversation, post a video on my thoughts of this, because again, I haven't posted a video for a while. So I'm excited to get back onto it and see Studio One 6.5 has Atmos now. I haven't really played around with it too much. I have quite a bit of experience with Logic Pro's Atmos setup, and it's very easy to use. But from what I have seen online, Presonus made it really easy to adapt and to get used to the Atmos environment, which I think is really cool, because people see Atmos and they get kind of nervous and they think like, oh, it's like surround sound, right? But not really. It's nothing like surround sound or anything like that. It's nothing like anything that's come before it, because the big difference is, you know, back in the 5.1 days, 7.1 days, you had to have all of these speakers to really get the full experience. And if you were missing a speaker, you were missing that whole channel. If there was audio on that one speaker and that speaker's out, you don't have that audio. Atmos is way different. It's backwards compatible to stereo or a full Atmos rig. Obviously, you're not going to get the same experience that you would if you were in a full Atmos, but you can also listen on your basic ear pods, and you'll still get a very immersive sound. And I hate that immersive, right? Like, it sounds kind of very gimmicky and markety. It does work. It sounds really cool when you realize you can have so many different channels and you can play sounds above you, behind you, under you. It really opens up your mind to a lot of really cool mix ideas. And I have seen some people do some really cool things with Atmos. Once you open your mind and you think, I have more than 2 speakers now, it really is cool to think about it. And looking at the laptop and changing gears a little bit on this slightly controversial, I haven't said anything really controversial yet. So Avid was purchased by an acquisition. They were acquired by a company for $1.4 billion or some ludicrous number, which blew me away, because I'm like, wow, Avid was worth that much? That remains to be seen. And whenever they said, oh yeah, they got the offer for $1.4 billion, thinking, yeah, I would have jumped all over that if I was the CEO of a sinking ship. I was kind of surprised that they were purchased by someone, but I was more surprised when I saw that now they have a perpetual license back. Usually these types of companies, they'll buy a business like this, they'll milk it for every penny, they'll run it into the ground, and then they'll write it off as a tax write-off or however they do it in the corporate world. Whenever you're dealing with billions of dollars like this, these companies have tens of billions of dollars behind them to liquidate the assets of the company and just get all the money out of it. Historically, it's not been good for businesses who have been acquired by these types of companies. I'm very curious though, because Pro Tools has my heart, right? That was my first true like DAW. That's the first DAW I cut my teeth with in a real studio. And I stuck with it for almost a decade, about 10 years, just under 10 years. I did the switch after that to Studio One, but Pro Tools still has a part of my heart. And if they would get off their asses and stop being so greedy, which it looks like maybe this company acquiring them will tell the CEO, shut the fuck up and let us do this. We know what we're doing. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly though, you know, Studio One has come so far. You know, you've got the Ableton Lives of the world, the Logics of the world, the Studio Ones. Pro Tools has fallen so far behind with innovation. I think they could catch up. It's software. You can't speak in absolutes with software, right? At the one point in time, Pro Tools was the bee's knees. That was the one that everybody used, myself included. Now you have options. You have a lot of options. So hopefully the company that acquired Avid isn't going to ride the coattail of, well, it's industry standard. It's Pro Tools. It's Media Composer. This is what the last 3 Hollywood movies, big blockbusters, were cut on. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's ego, and ego is the downfall of any empire, any great business, whatever. Put your ego aside and then realize Avid, and I'm talking to Avid, realize, or whoever just bought Avid, realize you guys are so far behind so many other DAWs and video editors that have been innovative the past decade and are cheaper and just better. So, you know, ball's in your court now. Now you guys have the financial backing with this company acquiring you. Whatever company you are, if you guys happen to watch this video, please do a good job, because I'm not opposed to installing Pro Tools on my system again and using it, because I used Pro Tools for a long time. I still memorize all the shortcuts, all the key commands. So it would be not out of place at all for me to hop back into Pro Tools. What else is in the news? Nothing really happened. Ozone come out. Ozone 11 come out. That's cool. I have it on my computer. I haven't played with it just yet, but there are some modules and stuff like that I'm really curious to see. I've been trying to cut my plugin list down, like really cut my plugin list down. I think iZotope is a great company, and 11 does seem like it was more than just a number change from 10 to 11, you know?
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I'm very curious about this, and I will keep you guys posted on what happens and what I truly think of it. But I think that's going to do it, guys. I've been blabbling on now for about 15 minutes before I cut it in Premiere Pro, but I just really wanted to say I'm super excited to come out with some new content. Studio 1.6, thank you, Presonus, for that. 6.5, thank you so much for that. Have a happy Thursday, have a happy Friday, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys in the next video.